Hi, everybody. I was feeling pulled to help everybody be soothed and resourceful during this time of pretty major disruption of our everyday lives. The more we relax and get in the flow, feel around for that flow, the more we just find things being easier. Let's reframe the fear and anxiety that often pops up during a crisis. Take that vibration of fear and anxiety, which is down here, and allow it to lift up into a higher state of conscious concern. Calm, conscious concern. Fear and anxiety, calm, conscious concern. You don't ignore it. You don't spiritual bypass it and pretend it's not there and stuff it back down. No. You allow it to be. You soothe yourself. You notice it's there. And as you breathe through it with the intention to allow it to rise into calm, conscious concern, then you're in the flow. Your receptivity to inspiration and wisdom is open. Compassion, there's another C. Compassion is there. You're not sticking your head in the sand, yet you're not swept up in it. I can watch all this news in a state of calm, centered concern, and it doesn't drop my vibration one bit. That's when you know that you've laid your foundation. That's when you know that you're in equanimity, one of the 4 big hallmarks of enlightenment. A crisis shows us where we are. And sometimes that crisis shows us that we have prepared ourselves, our vibration, our world to weather difficulty. And other times, that crisis shows us that we have not. So this is a good time to take stock. Have I prioritized getting my life in order? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And if I didn't, then today's a new day. This is a good time to sit back and ponder. Have I prioritized? So here are some of the signs that you have prepared. You have prioritized your spiritual path so that you're now in equanimity. Sure, it's inconvenient. Sure, you might not like it, but you're not in fear. You're not in anxiety. You're in the flow. You're comfortable with what is. Your vibration is high on the instrument panel. You're not in need or lack. You have done the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, I don't want to call it work, but you've made those choices. So the signs that you haven't set yourself up to flow through this time would be that there's fear and anxiety. The spiritual focus to get you to equanimity hasn't happened. When you've been in the flow for a long time, you do practical things like have that 6 months of backup resources, 6 months of savings for such time as you might need it, as such time that income might not be coming in. And you may think that's not spiritual, but our large self guides us to do things like that when we're listening. But let's say, on the other hand, every day you were spending money to make yourself feel better. It would have been better to be doing meditations and practices to keep yourself feeling better. That helps you glide, soar, flow easier through difficult times. So this is a good time to take stock. Have I prioritized getting my life in order? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And if I didn't, then today's a new day. This is a good time to sit back and ponder. You have the time during a breakdown, let's say, like is happening right now, to sit back and compassionately survey and make some new choices. Breakdown leads to breakthrough. And sometimes it requires breakdown, unfortunately. We humans are not always really good at thinking in the big picture, thinking from large self, thinking ahead. Especially Americans, I hate to say this, but we're like immediate gratification. I want it right now. And even if that's not the wisest thing, I want it right now. And I want you to look at that vibrationally. What that's about is trying to make yourself feel good right now with some immediate physical gratification. What if you reprioritized and your feeling better right now was accomplished more with yummy, emotional, spiritual feeding on a regular basis? There's an EQ to ponder, and you don't have to answer it. That's not how EQs work. It's in the second book, Living Large. Here's another effective question. Next time, how can I have prioritized? You know, on the very practical level, sometimes people have the most expensive iPhone or the biggest TV, but no savings. Or new clothes and eat out all the time, but no savings. Or a brand new car, but no savings. So we tap into our large self and ask those effective questions. How can I get my life in order on all levels? And if you haven't done Portal 2 and read the second book, EQs are constructed a certain way. Once it becomes habit, though, they just pop right out of your head because the mind is now in service of the large self, not the small self. What if I became more a master of physical, practical wisdom? I've done that. I don't just sit in the clouds. I have paid attention to and prioritized getting my financial life in order. Now, there is a bit of a spiritual disease that goes around through the metaphysical community, and that's making money wrong. And you know what that does? That leads to you becoming a repellent to money, because if you're making it wrong, you're not going to let it come to you. So I hope you'll look at that too. Do I make money wrong? Do I look at people who do well with money and say, oh, they're bad? That's a vibration guaranteed to keep you poor. So look there, check it out, witness it, feel into it. Money is this great gift. It's a type of energy flow that we use to manage in this world. And now I use it to be able to afford expensive websites to serve you. I don't have to shut down during this time of crisis, even though the income is not coming in, because I've managed that. I couldn't do it probably forever, but this isn't going to go on forever. Having a buffer is wise. And I never did it out of fear. I did it out of abundance. A man wrote to me recently and he wanted me to work with him personally. And I said, especially in this financial crisis you're in, working with me personally would be a really bad use of your money. The online portals will give you all of the basics you need. And is that going to turn your nosedive situation around overnight? No. But where are you going to be in 6 months if you don't do it? Where are you going to be in a year if you don't do it? The path is there. The steps, the basics that will support you and lift you up are there. right there. So get started now. Plan ahead. See, that's not immediate gratification. He wanted an immediate turnaround. Well, from where he told me he was, the debt, I've been there too. Not anymore. Think how it will feel in 6 months when you've dived in there and gotten yourself lifted up. There's no magic pill. Now, divine openings is incredibly magical, and the grace of it will get you there. But you have to think a little bit ahead. Your choices right now, every single one of them, are going to have an impact in a week, a month, 6 months, and a huge impact in a year. Huge. I'm still elevating after practicing divine openings now for 15 years. And it's that focus and that commitment and that steadiness and that not getting distracted and that not wandering away and that constant expansion and evolution that has me feeling personally absolutely calm, centered, even super happy right now with what's going on. I can't help anyone out there by going down in vibration to where they are. So I'm not going to do that. Just as I don't prosper anybody out there by me coming down and being poor. That's that spiritual disease that's so rampant. Oh, if I'm poor, then I'm good. But then I ask those people, well, how is that helping anyone? As you've noticed, abundance tends to create abundance. Like in the economy, when people are prospering, the economy prospers more and more and more and more. Now, is there income inequality? Yes. But in general, what we see is as the economy prospers, everyone prospers more. You can only lift people up when you're up. You can have compassion, which keeps you up in the love vibration. But the minute you go into sympathy, you're down there with them. Sympathy is a very low vibration. It means you vibrate with them. Compassion means you vibrate up here with this open, warm, uplifting vibration that you're sharing with them or aiming at them and folding them in. Feel into that for a moment. So yes, have compassion for any difficulties that people are going through right now, but not sympathy. Feel the difference. Appreciate just how easy we normally have it. The conveniences that we have, running water, electricity, food that we just go get at the grocery store. So I hope you'll take a moment to appreciate those things. They'll be back. To appreciate those things perhaps in a way that you never did before. You know, we can get grumpy about maybe that the electricity costs too much or that the grocery store doesn't have some item that we wanted. And now I go in that grocery store and Scott and I are just raving that, oh, they have sourdough bread. The more we relaxed and got into the flow, the more we discovered that our small grocery store had better supplies than the big one where Scott waited in line for 2 hours. Another thing that's happened for us is that we're cooking at home, of course, and all of a sudden I've gotten more creative. Made new things that I'd never made before because eating out is not such a good idea right now. And even getting takeout is not such an appealing idea right now. So we're making it more of a home retreat. We're reaching out to friends over Zoom, which is what I'm on right now, or phone. Sending uplifting messages, pictures, videos, and we're again appreciating the freedom that we had to just move around not too long ago. Now let's practice some more EQs. That's another thing that study and preparation has caused to happen for me. I automatically think of EQs. Now my brain serves me. It automatically serves up EQs when there's a crisis. It asks things like, we can't do that now. What can we do? That's not going to work. What will work? That focus doesn't feel good. What focus would? That's unproductive. What is productive? How could good come of this? What good will come of this? Now, I don't want to downgrade the survival self that's part of the small self either. It's trying to take care of you, but don't let it run the show. If you need a warning that says, oh, go to the store and get this, go get it. But overall, you want your large self in charge, large and in charge. So get out that second book, Practice Your EQs. If this is not already a habit for you, perfect time to make it a habit. You can practice EQs all day at work. You can practice them all day with your kids, all day with your spouse, all day with your mother-in-law. They're great. I like to remind everybody that laying your spiritual foundation that won't shake isn't work. It's simply substituting these productive endeavors for completely useless things that you were doing before, really. Oh. It's not extra work. It's productive focus being chosen over non-productive focus. You can soothe yourself right now by reminding yourself that if that foundation wasn't laid before, wasn't built before, you're headed that way now. It's all a choice. Witness your choices in the past with compassion and ask yourself, what choices are going to serve me going forward? Do listen to that meditation that I gave you. I'll post it again with this blog. Listen to it often. Play around on the website. Maybe go back and review the basics in Portal 1. Those basic keys, Portal 5 has a ton of meditations. You could listen to a different one every night for 2 months. So right now, I'd like to end this message with a Divine Mother hug, which you probably know is not accelerating, it's more soothing. You never want to get the energy going faster than you can release resistance to it. And with Divine Mother hugs, you don't have to be concerned about that because it's not going to speed you up. It's going to soothe you and help you assimilate any divine openings you may have already had this week. All you have to do with a Divine Mother hug is intend to allow it to attune you, to lift you, to soften you, to bathe you in grace. So I'll go into the silence for a couple of minutes, and then I'll say goodbye in silence so you can stay in that state for as long as you like.